The opinion with Michael J. We're going to start off with one of our favorite targets, Moose on the Loose. Here's this video came out 4 hours ago, 51,000 views already, 145,000 subscribers, and most of this stuff is half-truths, a lot of fiction, and a lot of opinion. So, the headline, food prices to skyrocket, it's all Carney's fault. Well, guess what? This tariff issue was a result of a guy by the name of Agent Orange, Putin puppet, Donald J. Trump. That's the reality. So why do you keep coming up with this bullshit? It's just absolute nonsense. Serves nobody. We've got to work together to get through this so that Canada is stronger, more unified, and better prepared for situations like this in the near term and future. Very simple process. It's not hard to figure out. This slagging everybody and just friggin' being cruel really helps no one.
The food prices are Carney's fault. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. Today we're learning that Mark Carney, despite removing a whole bunch of tariffs, most of the tariffs on America, he didn't remove the food ones, and that's why prices are about to spike. We also have record numbers of Canadians moving across Canada, trying to find a better place to live.
But here's the thing. David, guess what? 2 weeks ago, if you went to a supermarket, you would have known the prices have already gone up. If you went to a Loblaws, you'd know the prices already went up. It's not a big secret.
A lot of those people moving to Alberta. Let's jump into this. First up, we got Premier Scott Moe calling for 10 policies.
Here's the thing. Alberta has the highest standard of living in Canada. But you got to complain about everything. I know people that left Ontario 2 years ago because they can get better housing and better opportunities in Saskatchewan and Alberta. Like, let's put things in proper perspective. Now, Scott Moe, May 16th, I really got an issue using X for your news source. Like, that's really friggin' not really good news source. Let me tell you right now. Like Scott Moe, he's got 10 conditions now. Meanwhile, what's the canola issue with respect to? Do you know what the canola issue is with respect to? Let's look at what it is. Canola. Here we go, canola. China imposed a 100% tariff on Canadian canola and meal in retaliation for Canada's 100% tariff on Chinese-made electric vehicles, aluminum, and steel. Well, guess what? We've got this trade deal that's been going back since a couple decades. And Canada, United States, and Mexico have been making cars together for a long time. So, initially, Biden put a 100% tariff on Chinese EVs. To protect our industry. We did likewise to protect our industry. Even though the Chinese product is better than what we make in North America. That is a fact. And then the aluminum and steel is an issue because the Americans been complaining that Mexico, Canada have been accepting Chinese dumping of aluminum and steel and sneaking onto the American market. This is one of the things we got to deal with, especially with Trump, because Trump's got a tariff on everybody in the world. And to put things in perspective, even Israel, that is their most favorite friend, they helped them out with war and everything, still got a 17% tariff overall. That's just the reality of things right now with Trump. Doesn't matter who you are. So let's cut this nonsense.
Policy changes to improve the Ottawa-Saskatchewan relationship. Considering how Mark Carney hasn't even addressed the whole China canola tariffs, which is decimating this, was at $43 billion.
But you know something? There is an insurance program called the Agri-Stability Insurance that farmers in Alberta and Saskatchewan can be part of to help protect from these kinds of situations. You do realize that, of course, don't you? Secondly, the gross domestic product of Saskatchewan's $80 billion a year, and that's with a good rate increase, over 2%, almost 3% from the year prior. Same with Alberta. But the combined GDP of Alberta and Saskatchewan's less than half of Ontario. And it's woe be me, Alberta, and woe be me, Saskatchewan. Your standard of living's a lot better in a lot of ways than it is in Ontario and Quebec. We got affordability issues, housing issues, and it's not exclusive to North America here in Canada, also the United States. So let's be clear on that.
Dollar economy in Saskatchewan. Mark Carney doesn't care about the people of Saskatchewan. I don't know why a single person voted for Mark Carney in Saskatchewan.
That's not true. It's just it's a more complicated fix that you're taking into account for, Dave, and I explained to it between the Chinese EV cars and the canola trade and the dumping of steel and aluminum. It's a more complicated deal, and you're not being forthright. The people of Canada, mind you, you excite your base. Your base feeds off this nonsense, but you're not being forthright to people in Canada.
Saskatchewan. He clearly does not care. Next up, we got Clyde posting this one. Free and fair elections. The world is watching you, Canada. So that's in relation to this. The Liberals have now declared this Milton East Halton Hills South riding a Liberal win by 21 votes after recount process found an extra 290 votes for the Liberals and reduced the Conservatives' votes by 29. Just funny how that works out. Funny how they just find these votes and the Conservatives' votes go down. If they want this free and fair, if they want...
Have you ever done any scrutineering? Have you ever worked with Elections Canada? I've done that. You think there's monkey business. You're just trying to create something that doesn't exist. This was a very close election this year. And the NDP lost a lot of seats because of the rhetoric from Maple Syrup MAGA, Pierre Poilievre, that split the country. And we got an issue with this guy, Donald Trump. And it's not going to be an easy fix. You do not understand that. So let's work together across the country of Canada to make things better. And that's what we need to do.
Want this honest, everything needs to be filmed like they have in America. They have a camera where all the ballots are counted, so anyone can go and just look at them and watch them and count them themselves off of the camera. That's what we need to have here because there's too much corruption in this country. I don't know if there's corruption in our election process, but there needs to be cameras to prove that there isn't. Recently, we've been hearing a lot about food prices going up. Loblaws says grocery prices are about to skyrocket because of tariffs.
Canada's largest grocery chain.
Yeah. Groceries have gone up 2 weeks ago, buddy. You're way behind the curve on this one. Let's move forward because I'm not going to watch this much longer. We're going to cut this out.
His buddy Donald Trump. A lot of people mentioning the comments here like preemptive price gouging. Is Loblaws just doing this to make more money, or is this really the tariffs? I think driven by short-sighted trade policy says it all. There's a good reason why the food professor said that foods should be tariff-free. Food scarcity is a real...
Food professor. What is this news from X? Can't you do your own research? Can't you do your own research, buddy? Like, you're a smart guy. No reason to slag people and talk down to people and bully people. Makes no sense.
Issue. Both Loblaws and Walmart have delivered the same message to consumers. With this tariff bonanza, something's got to give. Eventually, food prices will rise, driven by a short side of trade policies. With razor-thin margins, food is a different beast altogether. What needs to happen here is Mark Carney needs to get off his butt and actually go negotiate a deal with Donald Trump. Stop protecting the supply management system in Quebec for dairy and actually do what's best for Canadians. All Canadians. No need for full investigation in their finances.
Tariffing Canada, is there anything he could say to you in the course of your meetings with him today that would get you to lift tariffs on Canada?
No.
Why not?
Just the way it is.
Carney's got to do a deal with Trump. Meanwhile, girl asks, is there any way that you're going to lift tariffs, any way that you'll lift tariffs off Canada? And you heard just exactly what he said. He said no. Because that's just the way it is.
Fourth of your meeting with him today that would get you to lift tariffs on Canada.
No,
Why not?
just the way it is.
Financial reporting comes out quarterly. Just check if their gross profit margin, i.e. revenue minus cost of goods exemptions coming from the Oxford Economics. Going over to the Government of Canada website, Justin Trudeau put in $12.6 billion of steel product tariffs, $3 billion on aluminum, $14.2 billion on additional imported U.S. goods. This includes food. Then Mark Carney gave exemptions to most of these, as it says here, gave a 6-month tariff exemption for products used in Canadian manufacturing, processing, food and beverage packaging, not food itself, but the packaging, and for items related to healthcare, public safety, and national.
Yeah, there are carve-outs for things that are processed and put together in certain areas to help protect some of our manufacturers here in Canada. There's also an application process to get exemption for it as well, if you're watching or paying attention to what's going on.
National security. Well, we got Mark Nixon posting this one. This is the list of the food products. Top 10 20 U.S. agricultural product categories targeted by Canada's retaliatory tariffs. 2024 export value. And it's just filled with stuff. Chocolate, wine, condiments, fresh fruits, sausages,
Start
meat,
buying
baked goods, cereals,
Canada.
pasta, distilled
Not
spirits,
everything.
dairy,
You can
poultry meat
buy a
products,
lot of this
eggs,
stuff in
rice,
Canada.
fresh vegetables, fruit and vegetable juices, processed fruit, processed vegetables.
You can buy a lot of this stuff in Canada, pal. This is what you need to start doing. Got to start buying Canada.
Fermented beverages, cider, etc.
Okay, now here's the exceptions. Where a lot of the tariffs is put on food.
Digging in here, but we can see.
But here it is. Like, these are fermented beverages. Fermented stuff. Tons of fermented stuff.
Here, fermented beverages, cider, etc., etc. Just scrolling down, these are all other fermented.
All just fermented. All this fermented stuff. And we don't need booze. Use Canadian booze. Buy Canadian booze. You get it brought in from somewhere else. Tobacco. Get tobacco locally. You don't need it from the United States.
Tobacco, cigars, wine of fresh grapes.
Yeah, wine. We're talking fermentation again. And you just do not understand this. Rape, grapes, fermentation, stuff like that.
Pasta.
Pasta. We make pasta here. A lot of this stuff we can do here, so buy Canada.
Vegetables, fruit, nuts, and other edible parts.
Just buy Canada, pal.
This one from the Food Professor. It says on April
Food Professor.
10th, during the election, Carney temporarily paused his campaign to convene a cabinet committee meeting on tariffs. It seemed a little bizarre. It just seemed like he was trying to get away from the journalists asking him hard questions, which is most definitely true. As it says here, now we know why. He never disclosed that he quietly lifted the U.S. tariffs on April 16th, clearly not to upset the elbows up vote. He totally backstabbed his own voters. I pointed.
Yikes. How many times did Trump flip-flop? Flip-flop Trump. Trump flip-flopped. Did Trump flip-flop? That's amazing. He may have, he may not have, right? Trump flip-flopped on tariffs. Big friggin' deal. You're making a friggin' federal case out of it. And that's the deal. Food prices to skyrocket. Here you go. Here's the GDP. This is Ontario. Slow growth, only 1.5%. But almost $900 billion. Quebec GDP, $452 billion. Which, guess what? That's more than Saskatchewan and Alberta combined also. So, look at 2.7% increase. Saskatchewan, 3.4% increase. Quebec, only 1.9. Ontario, only 1.5. So, crying in your soup. Buddies are crying in their soup. I had some other stuff I wanted to show you from the CFIB. Oh, it might be right here. Oh, yeah, here it is. You can see it right here. Here. How is Canada responding? Canada Federation of Independent Business. This tells you about the tariffs and the dates. List of products. List of products. Isn't that something? Man, isn't that something? Canada-U.S. tariffs. Key implementation dates. There you go. You know, they're going back and forth. Like Trump was putting them on, taking them back, putting them on, taking them back. Then there was the Liberation Day. But here's the dates and the rates. You know, no big secret here. You think friggin' MI5 or MI6 need to be brought in to investigate the way friggin' David's talking? MI6, come on, we need your help. British intelligence. Meanwhile, the carve out for the UK is only worth about $5 to $6 billion from one side to the next side. And still there's a minimum 10% tariff overall still in place. And guess what? It's only an MOU, a memorandum of understanding, and it's not even legally binding. And it goes against the trade rules for trade around the world that was set by the Americans. So figure, eh? This guy Trump's a friggin' criminal after all. And you just buy into this nonsense.
Video, but we got the receipts here now, so you can see April 16th, United States surtax remission order 2025 signed.
To this video, so you can friggin' check your receipts. Then he's gonna slag Doug Ford. Doug Ford's not on my Christmas list, but at least Doug Ford's trying to keep Canada together.
Crisis in Canada when he doesn't want to bring prices down. Canadians can't afford to buy houses.
Want to increase the supply, but people have so much of their savings and their retirement. The home is their biggest asset, and that's what they're relying on. So,
see, I did a whole video just in the last couple of days that explains the real reason why there's an affordability issue now, and also there's an affordability housing issue right now. It's not because of the last decade of the Liberals, which is another friggin' farce, another slogan of nonsense. It goes back to 1971, and you just do not get it. You can just look at the other video I posted a couple days ago. Simple as that. And then we're going to put this guy in the hot seat. Barely got his seat warm in cabinet. Doesn't even know what he's doing yet. Just trying to get a handle on stuff. And then you're posting all this stuff based on your experience. Guess what? Here's one other thing, David. You slag the $33, it works out to $33 a week income tax cut for Carney. But guess what? At least he's going to implement it as soon as the government goes back into Parliament. Immediately. Meanwhile, Pierre Poilievre, when he finally put his cost platform up, made it public, he lied to everybody. It's not till the fourth year that his bigger tax cut break was starting to even come into play. It would have been $66 a week for Pierre Poilievre, but you got to wait 4 years to get the money. At least Carney's doing it right now. And here's the other thing. And this started as a result of Thatcher and Reagan going back to the mid-1980s. These tax breaks are lost leaders. All they do is inflate your operating budget and really don't help the real situation overall. You need investment. You need a totally different way of looking at things. But we're not going to go into it here, but understand the housing proposed by Carney is modular housing that's going to be more affordable at the lower end. And that's where they're going to be focusing on. Princeton, British Columbia. Beautiful. $2 million house. Who's going to be buying that? The thing is, anything over $1.3 million, if you go over $1.3 million, you get no GST breaks. That's how it works. That was different with the Pierre Poilievre one, because he's just giving money away, tax breaks to everybody, expecting the free market to straighten it out. That won't solve the problem we have. Okay. So that's about it. Not watching any more of that stuff. Yikes. No way I'm watching any more of that stuff. I'll put links in the description. I've cut off comments because it's just nothing but followers that just bully people, make slag comments really that have no purpose for any good discussion between civil people. No standard of decorum, so comments are off. So I'll put sources in the description. Love and peace to everybody. Thanks for watching. Take care. Talk to you all soon. Ciao.